Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 27th, and well, we're doing pretty much what we talked about. Like we said, we were just going to have modest ranges. Nothing is indicating that we're falling apart or in major clouds. We are below the red line, so that's still weakness. Declining DOC in all aspects, and no, we don't have an orange reset down at the bottom. The problem you do have, though, is shorts have really pretty much activated about as much as they can here, and when that starts to come back the other direction, and you haven't dipped much, then yeah, you've got an issue. So that's the current situation as it is right now. I mean, we've got a beautiful ABM yellow right there at the 97, and this is what I was talking about, that we say 2500 resistance, but it's really right around that ABM in this level here, and this is where we stopped out right before we broke out the last time and retraced, well, geez, all the way back. So it's part of the normal cycle. It's the only way to describe it. I know it's boring and a little bit blah, but we've got a complete reset of the shakeout now. You're completely oversold and you're at market highs. So what does that tell you? Yeah, it points to the potentials that still exist. Now I know there's a ton of fear out there, and this is that slow walk to fear-related highs, and again, you're stuck with a situation where you can't really tell if the economy's improving dramatically, not. There are mixed signals. The Fed is all over the place. They're not sure what to do either, and this uncertainty leaves the situation. Where else are you going to put your money? Because with rates where they're at, there's really not a whole lot of alternatives but in equities. NQ, you can see coming back, still hasn't caught up to its ABM green though, which is a little further up still. But it's been a much more protracted downturn. So if that's the worst of it, you can see we got the first improvement in shakeout though. With it still below the red line, I would suspect that it's still going to have some trouble until that's worked out. And a little bit of downside pressure here with the euro. Starting to get a little bit closer to in range. I know I have positive extremes that need to be filled right here, and that's exactly what's happened in this particular case. We've got some others that go all the way back here, but that's going to be a much more protracted downturn. We'll finally see a negative in the shakeout reading for it from a daily standpoint. So that'll actually put some more pressure on the S&P to the desk. Not a lot, because it's still way elevated from where it's been. So it's going to be a huge improvement for those that use foreign earnings. So of course, TLT, way out of control. People still looking for some perceived safety net from an event that they're told is going to happen. They've been told is going to happen for, well, how many years has it been that we've been, the market is, going to crash from 22, 23, 24, now 25, and we're still in crash territory. So it hasn't happened, and there's just nothing that indicates it in these readings at this particular point. Fine, we're in a sell signal, but that doesn't indicate that it's going to be a dramatic, I'm not seeing a bottom type situation fall out. Oil, rising oil, that is a clean indication that there are plenty that believe that we have rising economic growth as opposed to a reduction in, I know there was a big draw in inventories, which part of that could have just been the hurricane and people using it all up really quick, but we'll see. It's a sign we've been looking at for a long time to suggest that there's a more sustained growth happening both domestic and worldwide. Gold, pull back, and it's not surprising because we're coming off of that deep extreme histogram here with the red, and it's soft. Did we even get all the way underneath there? Minus 1456. No, did not move below the 1509. So that's why we're seeing it's still not quite there, even though we got a nice turn around the shakeout. It's probably a little short-lived. Pop for a retest, and then it's the secondary wave. So the action, this beautiful wave action that took place, we had some nice buys at the bottom of it, didn't go very far, and then it just hit the short signal, turned right around and did the exact same thing. We set of buys, another soft rally into it. This one didn't decay as much, and that's usually where you look for that little bit over 50% and then wherever that 50% line turns out to be, boom, jumps from there. And that's actually been fairly effective. This isn't really spectacular. Again, we're right at that resistance point. So this is where we have to play it for now until we start to get a little more movement. I think intraday it's been enough to go with the turn and stay with it, and that's literally key. But you can see there's a very short distance from the sell signal to the buy signal, even from an intraday standpoint. But we'll keep plugging away with it and keep working programs. So as always, trade well. Talk to you later.